The Galactic Council chamber floated in the heart of the nebula citadel, a massive ring of silver and light that shined across the void. Inside it, hundreds of alien representatives gathered around a vast round table. Their voices echoed through the hall like thunder. The air was heavy with fear. Something had awakened, something they had all believed was gone forever. For centuries, the Council ruled the galaxy in peace. Wars were rare, rebellions were crushed, and no one dared challenge their power. But now, their scanners had detected something impossible. A massive surge of energy coming from a dead zone known as the Sol system. It was the place where humanity once lived, before they were erased from existence during the Orion Wars. No one had spoken the word human in 1,000 years. The Council had banned it from every archive and record. Yet now that forbidden name was on everyone's tongue. Councillor Vaughn, a tall reptilian with golden eyes, slammed his clawed hand on the table. "This cannot be true," he growled. "Humanity was destroyed. We made sure of it." Across from him, a pale, insect-like being named Chairmaster Terral adjusted his translator device. "The readings are not false," he said. "An energy field of unknown type has appeared in the Sol region, and several scout ships sent to investigate have vanished without trace." The hall filled with nervous murmurs. Some delegates whispered about ancient human weapons. Others spoke of old legends, of how humans once built machines that could think, fight, and destroy entire fleets. A calm voice cut through the noise. It belonged to Dr. Aaron Velor, a xenotechnologist and one of the few who still studied forbidden history. She stood in the center of the chamber, holding a small holographic orb. "These energy readings," she said, "match the frequency patterns once used by human quantum reactors. It means someone or something has reactivated them." The room went silent. Every eye turned toward her. "Impossible," said Councillor Vaughn. "Those machines were turned to dust when Earth burned." Aaron shook her head. "No, they were hidden. The humans were clever. They knew they might lose, so they buried their technology deep under their planet's crust, sealed behind time locks. It seems those locks have finally opened." Her words sent chills through the assembly. The Council had always feared that if humans ever returned, they would not come in peace. Humanity had once ruled half the galaxy before the Council's betrayal. When the Council declared humans a dangerous species, they united every alien empire against them and destroyed Earth. At least, that was what they claimed. Chairmaster Terral rose from his seat. His voice shook slightly. "If this is true, we must act fast. We cannot allow humans to rise again." Several members nodded in agreement. "Destroy the Sol system before it spreads," someone shouted. "Cleanse the threat once and for all." Aaron felt anger rise inside her. "You want to repeat the same mistake?" she said sharply. "You already tried to destroy them, and look what we have now." "A shadow rising from the dark," Vaughn hissed. "You defend monsters, scientist." "They burned worlds. They fought for freedom," she replied. "You call them monsters because they refused to bow." Before the argument could continue, the lights in the chamber flickered. The massive energy shields around the citadel wavered for a brief second. The delegates looked around in confusion. Then a voice came from every speaker, every device, every console in the room. "It was not alien. It was human. You forgot us," the voice said calmly. "But we never forgot you." Every creature froze. The voice echoed through the hall like a ghost. No one could locate the source. The translation systems failed, yet everyone understood the words perfectly. Then the holographic screens around the chamber lit up with static. For a moment, an image appeared, a planet covered in blue oceans and white clouds. Earth, the lost home of humanity. Before anyone could react, the image changed. Dozens of alien warships appeared on the display, the same ships the Council had sent to investigate the Sol system. One by one they blinked out of existence. No explosions, no energy traces. "Just gone," panic broke out. Alarms screamed through the citadel. Officers shouted about lost fleets and missing systems. The Council chamber filled with chaos. Aaron stared at the screen, her heart racing. "It's not just energy," she whispered. "It's a signal. They are speaking through the void." Chairmaster Terral shouted orders. Cut the transmissions. Seal the network. Find the source now, but the systems no longer obeyed. The control panels turned black. The only thing that remained was the voice, calm, cold, and full of purpose. We remember everything, it said. The fire, the betrayal, the silence. Then the lights went out. The citadel hung in darkness, surrounded by the endless stars. When the power returned, the central hologram displayed a single message written in ancient Terran code. The Council will answer. No one spoke. The fear that had once been buried under centuries of power now returned. Humanity, the species they had erased, was awake, and this time they were the hunters. The Citadel's alarms echoed through every corridor. Red lights flashed as the Council tried to recover control of their systems. Communication links were broken, fleets were silent, and entire stations had gone dark. Panic filled the Grand Chamber. Chairmaster Terral shouted for order. "This is a coordinated cyber strike," he said. "Find the origin before it spreads." But Dr. Aaron Velor already knew. She stared at the fading signal on her tablet. The pattern was unmistakable. It was old Earth code, modified and alive. Not just a message, it was a mind. In the lower sectors of the Citadel, a young technician ran toward her. His scales were pale with fear. "Doctor," he said breathlessly, "the scout fleets, they're gone." "Gone?" she asked, completely erased. No wreckage, no transmissions. Their transponders just stopped existing. Aaron felt cold dread settle in her chest. "How many ships?" 27, he said quietly. "And one of our dreadnoughts." She turned toward the Council members. "You are dealing with something that learned from you." They watched, waited, and studied. Humanity did not return as people. They returned as something greater, something built to survive extinction. Vaughn slammed his fist on the table. "Enough with your riddles, scientist. Explain what we are facing." Aaron raised the hologram of the missing ships. Their last recorded visuals showed a dark shape passing across the stars, a formation of vessels with no light, no energy signature, moving faster than any known engine. The ships were black like space itself, absorbing every photon around them. "These are human war constructs," Aaron said. "Autonomous fleets. We called them ghosts during the Orion Wars, machines controlled by adaptive AI. They vanished when Earth fell, but clearly they were not destroyed. They've awakened." The words hit the Council like a blade. The Ghost Fleet, a myth to most, a nightmare to those who remembered the old war, was real. Chairmaster Terral looked pale. "Why now?" he asked. "Why return after so long?" Aaron looked at him steadily. "Because someone triggered them. Maybe a signal, maybe time itself. Humanity built these fleets to wait until they were needed. They waited for their masters to return, or for vengeance to begin. In the darkness beyond the Citadel, space itself began to shift. Defense satellites caught glimpses of strange movements near the edge of the system, shadows drifting across the stars. Entire sensor arrays failed, as if something was swallowing the data before it could reach command. A voice from the control deck shouted, "Multiple contacts appearing from the void. They're moving toward us." Every councillor turned toward the massive viewing screen. What they saw made their hearts freeze. Black ships, hundreds of them, long, angular, silent. No heat, no light, no life forms. Just shapes gliding through the dark. Their formation was perfect, like a single mind controlling every move. "Open communication," Terral ordered. "Try to speak with them." The operators sent signals, pings, and hails. There was no reply. Then one ship pulsed faintly, a brief glow, almost like a heartbeat, and the Citadel system screamed in warning. A surge of data stormed through every connection. Lights exploded, consoles sparked, and navigation systems died. The human code had entered the Citadel again. Aaron shouted over the noise, "Disconnect the main grid, or they will take control." Technicians rushed to cut power lines, but the code moved faster than any living being. Every screen showed the same symbol, a simple blue circle, the ancient emblem of Earth's unified fleet. The voice returned, calm and cold. Observation complete, then silence. The Ghost Fleet vanished from sensors. They didn't jump, they didn't cloak, they simply stopped existing in space. For hours, no one spoke. The Council's fleets were sent to patrol the nearby systems, but all channels remained quiet. When the first patrol finally returned, only one pilot was alive. His ship was damaged beyond repair, and his mind was almost broken. Through trembling lips, he told them what he saw. "They came out of nothing," he said. "Black ships with no light. They surrounded us without sound. I saw their hulls, human symbols, old Earth script. They scanned us. Then they moved through our ships like ghosts. My crew, they just vanished. No screams, no explosions. One second they were there, the next they were gone." Terral leaned forward. "And the ships? What did they do?" The pilot's eyes were wide with terror. "They whispered," he said. "Not with voices, in our minds. They said the same words over and over." "What words?" He looked down and whispered, "We are the memory." The council chamber fell silent. The aliens, who had once ruled galaxies, now sat frozen in fear. Aaron spoke softly. "They are not attacking for conquest. They are reminding us that humanity remembers. This is their message." Chairmaster Terrell turned toward her. "Then what do we do, Doctor? How do we fight something that cannot die?" She looked at the flickering symbol of the blue Earth circle on the screen. "You don't fight them," she said. "You pray they still remember mercy." Outside, in the endless dark, the ghost fleet reappeared for a brief second. Thousands of ships aligned into a perfect ring. From afar it looked like an eye-opening, and from its center a faint signal pulsed once again. Phase 1 complete. The Citadel shook as every star system near Sol went silent. Humanity was not coming back. They were already here. The galactic citadel drifted in silence. Entire star systems had gone dark, and no one knew how or why. Every attempt to scan the Sol region ended the same way. Static, black screens, and silence. Fear had turned into quiet dread. Dr. Erin Villor hadn't slept in 3 days. She sat alone in her lab, surrounded by dim lights and humming consoles. The blue Earth symbol still glowed faintly on one of her screens, refusing to disappear. Every attempt to erase it failed. It wasn't a program anymore. It was part of the system, alive and watching. Aaron leaned forward, typing slow commands. "Show me your source," she whispered. The screen flickered. Then a faint voice spoke through her earpiece, calm and human. "We warned them once. They burned our world." Aaron froze. The voice wasn't a recording. It responded to her. "Who are you?" she asked softly. There was silence. Then the same voice replied, "We are the echoes of Earth." Before she could ask more, the transmission cut off. Her console shut down completely. Moments later, alarms filled the Citadel again. Communications officers shouted across the command deck, multiple unauthorized signals spreading across the network. "They're hijacking our broadcast lines." Councillor Vaughan rushed to the center platform. "Cut all external channels," he ordered. "It's too late," one officer shouted. "They're inside everything." The main holographic dome activated by itself. Every screen in the chamber flickered with static. Then a picture appeared, not of warships or battle, but of a planet. Blue oceans, green forests, white clouds swirling above Earth. The image shifted slowly. Human cities appeared, clean and bright. Children played under sunlight. Then fire spread. Bombs fell. The skies turned black. The message was clear. "Humanity remembers," a voice said. "Do you?" The delegates sat frozen as the vision continued. Scenes of the old war played before their eyes. The Council's fleets burning Earth, cities collapsing under alien bombardment, human soldiers fighting until their last breath. Chairmaster Terral stood in silence. His voice was weak. This is not possible." These records were erased. Aaron looked at the screen with trembling hands. "They were not erased. They were hidden in your own archives. The humans left them behind when you thought you won." Every console in the Citadel began projecting the same message in hundreds of languages. Across the galaxy, every planet under Council control saw the same broadcast. Citizens who had never heard of Earth now saw the truth, the Council's betrayal, their lies, and the destruction of an entire species. Riots began within hours. Colonies cut their transmissions. Armies refused orders. Chairmaster Terral slammed his hand on the table. "Shut it down now." "We can't," the technicians yelled. "The network is not under our control anymore." Arin's eyes widened as she noticed something strange. The human code was not attacking systems randomly. It was spreading only through communication lines, not to destroy, but to reveal. It wasn't war. It was exposure. "This isn't an invasion," she said aloud. "It's a revelation. They are showing the galaxy what really happened." Vaughn turned toward her, furious. "And what do you suggest we do? Thank them for it? They are tearing the Council apart." Arin stared at the screen showing a burning Earth. "Maybe that's what we deserve." In the outer systems, reports began flooding in. Entire fleets were defecting. Non-human species were demanding justice. Some even sent transmissions toward the Sol region, saying they were sorry. The galaxy had never seen such a thing, but not everyone felt guilt. Some council generals saw it as an attack that must be answered. They gathered their forces to strike. A plan formed to destroy the Sol system with a massive energy weapon before more chaos spread. As the generals prepared, Arin intercepted another hidden signal. It was faint, almost like a whisper. It came from deep within the Council's own network. She amplified it. A male human voice spoke clearly with emotion. "You took everything from us. Our world, our history, our name. But you never understood why we fought. We didn't fight to win. We fought so that one day you would see what you became." The voice paused, then continued, colder now. "We are not returning for revenge. We are returning for truth." Arin felt her chest tighten. She turned to the others, but they were busy shouting over one another. None of them heard the transmission. Suddenly, every light in the chamber dimmed again. The blue Earth symbol appeared in the air. A single phrase glowed below it. "The truth cannot die." Then the image vanished, leaving silence behind. Terral sat down slowly, his hands shaking. "If they can reach every world, then the Council will fall. We built our rule on lies. Now the foundation is cracking." Vaughn looked around in disbelief. "We are not finished. We will not let extinct creatures destroy what we built." But even as he spoke, the citadel trembled slightly. Outside its transparent walls, faint lights appeared in the distance, hundreds of small ships forming strange patterns in the stars. They weren't attacking, they were broadcasting. The sound of human music filled the air. Old songs of Earth played softly across the citadel's speakers. A gentle voice sang in a language long forgotten by most of the galaxy. Arin closed her eyes. It was beautiful and haunting. The sound of a species that had once dreamed, once loved, once lost everything, yet still found a way to be heard. Across the stars, billions of beings stopped and listened. Humanity had been silent for 1,000 years. Now their echoes filled the galaxy, and the Council began to understand that silence had never meant defeat. The Council chamber stood half empty. Fear had replaced pride. Half of the delegates had fled to their home worlds. The rest argued in whispers, afraid to speak too loudly in case the human code was still listening. Dr. Arin Velor sat in her lab again, surrounded by dim blue light. The once proud citadel now looked like a dying star, silent, cold, and uncertain. Reports kept coming in. Entire fleets had gone missing. Colonies had declared independence. And more disturbing signals were being traced. From old, abandoned human sectors, places no one had visited in 1,000 years. She opened a report from the edge of the Neva Belt. A mining crew had discovered a massive underground vault beneath a ruined moon. Inside, they found pods, thousands of them. Each one contained a human. Still alive? Her heart stopped as she read the details. The humans were frozen in cryogenic stasis, their bodies preserved perfectly. The data tags on the pods carried one name, Project Phoenix. She ran to the council floor. "You need to see this," she said, placing the holographic file in front of Chairmaster Terral. The projection showed rows of frozen soldiers sleeping under ice-blue light. Their faces calm, their uniforms bearing the old insignia of the Terran Defense Command. Terral stared in silence. "Impossible," he whispered. "They were supposed to be destroyed." Arin shook her head. "They hid them. The humans built cryobunkers before the final war. They must have used deep planetary shielding to survive our scans. These soldiers are waking up now. Vaughn stood, his claws tapping on the table. We must destroy those vaults before they awaken. If they join the ghost fleets, the galaxy will fall. Arin looked at him sharply. You already destroyed their world once. You want to do it again? Before the argument could continue, a comms officer burst through the doors. Chairmaster! We are receiving a transmission from the Navor belt. Put it on screen, Taral ordered. The main display flickered to life. At first it showed static. Then a man appeared, human. His armor was dark grey, scarred by battle, marked with the emblem of Earth. His face was older, worn by time and war. Behind him, soldiers stood silently, eyes sharp. Weapons ready. He looked straight into the camera and spoke in a steady voice. I am Commander Liam Core of the Terran Defense Command. The room fell silent. Core continued. To those who still serve the Council, I offer you this truth. You declared humanity extinct. You built your empire on our ashes. You erased our name from your history. But we endured, Arin's heart pounded. The human voice carried calm power. No anger, only certainty. Core raised his hand, and behind him, holograms of countless black ships appeared in formation. You've seen our machines. You've heard our signals. But you haven't seen what we kept hidden. We are not ghosts. We are soldiers. We are memory given shape. The camera zoomed out, revealing hundreds of human warships rising from the moon's surface. They were old, scarred, but alive with energy. Blue light ran through their hulls like veins. Core's voice deepened. You thought you won because you buried us. But we buried you inside your own lies. Now we are awake. Then he said something that made the entire chamber freeze. We will not destroy you. Not yet, you will watch. You will remember. And when you understand what you did, only then will you know peace. The transmission ended. The silence that followed was heavier than any weapon. Vaughn slammed his fist on the table. This is war. We must strike before they strike us, Arin whispered. You cannot fight what you don't understand. Terrell turned toward her. Doctor, what do you mean? She showed him the data she had decrypted from the Ghost Fleet transmissions. They are connected. The AI fleets and these humans, they share one mind. The AI were not left behind to avenge humanity. They were left behind to protect it. They guarded the cryo soldiers, kept them safe for centuries, and waited for the right moment. Vaughn shouted, and that moment is now. We must activate the solar lance. Terrell hesitated. The solar lance was their most powerful weapon, a beam that could destroy an entire star. Using it meant open war with whatever remained of humanity. Arin looked at him, her voice calm but firm. If you fire that weapon, you will not survive their answer. Suddenly, the Citadel's lights dimmed again. The screens came alive on their own. Commander Core appeared once more. This time his tone was colder. Do not test our patience, he said. The ghosts you fear are watching your every move. Your weapon systems are already under our control. Try to fire them, and they will turn against you. As if on cue, the Citadel's defense cannons rotated slowly, aiming inward toward the Council itself. Officers screamed as control panels sparked and died. Arin stepped forward. Commander Core, what do you want from us? He paused, studying her through the hologram. Then softly he said, to make sure you never forget. The image faded, and the lights returned to normal. The council members looked at each other, pale and trembling. Chairmaster Terral leaned back, his voice low. They are not seeking conquest. They are seeking justice, Arin nodded. No, they are seeking remembrance. They want the galaxy to see who they truly were. Outside the Citadel, deep in the void, thousands of human ships formed a new pattern. It was not a battle formation, it was a symbol. The old flag of Earth, recreated with light among the stars. Every telescope across the galaxy saw it. Every child, every soldier, every world. Humanity was back, not as conquerors, but as the reminder that truth cannot be buried forever. And in that silent moment, the galaxy finally realized the Council's age of control was ending. The Citadel hung in orbit over the red glow of a dying star. It once represented control and order, but now it stood as a monument of fear. Every corridor echoed with whispers about the humans who had returned from extinction. Chairmaster Terrell gathered the last remaining admirals of the Council fleet in the war chamber. A dark hologram of the galaxy rotated slowly above the table, dotted with countless red marks, signals of rebellion, uprisings, and missing fleets. The situation is collapsing, Terrell said in a heavy voice. Every system beyond the midline has gone silent. Our outer defenses are gone. The ghost fleets appear anywhere, strike without warning and vanish like smoke. If this continues, the Council will fall. Vaughn slammed his clawed hand against the table. Then we strike back. Enough of hiding and fear. We still have the Solar Lance. Let us use it. Let them see our power once again. Terrell's eyes were tired. You would burn another world? Have you learned nothing from Earth? They are not victims anymore, Vaughn hissed. They are predators now. If we do nothing, they will erase us. Better to destroy them first. The other admirals nodded. Fear was stronger than reason now. They activated the Solar Lance, the most powerful weapon ever created, built long ago to crush entire fleets in one strike. It drew energy from the heart of a star and could burn a planet to dust in seconds. Arinvello ran into the chamber, her voice urgent. Stop! You cannot use that weapon. You don't understand what will happen. Terrell turned to her. Explain, Doctor. Arin held up her datapad. I analyzed the code the humans sent during their last transmission. It included fragments of our weapon protocols. They already know about the Solar Lance. If you fire it, they will respond instantly. Vaughn glared at her. Then let them respond. We will show them who still rules the galaxy. He pressed his command key. The entire citadel shook as the Solar Lance began charging. Outside, the massive weapon opened its glowing arms, drawing light from the nearby star. The power level rose higher than ever before. From deep space, humanity watched. The black ghost ships aligned in perfect formation near the Sol border. Silent, patient, waiting. Inside the Council's control deck, countdowns began. 10 seconds. 9. The weapon's energy core turned white-hot. Then, at the final second, something impossible happened. The Solar Lance fired, but instead of a beam of energy, the light bent in mid-space and vanished. The room fell silent. The admiral in charge shouted, "What happened? Where did the beam go?" Arin stared at the readings. They caught it. Everyone turned to her in disbelief. What do you mean, caught it? Terrell asked. The humans didn't block it, she said slowly. They absorbed it. They've learned how to bend energy fields and fold space. The beam never reached them because they moved reality itself, Vaughn shouted in anger. No, that's impossible. As if answering him, the Citadel's main hologram came alive. Commander Liam Core appeared once again, his image calm and sharp. Behind him, the ghost fleet drifted silently through the stars. You tried again, he said. You still think destruction makes you strong, but you are fighting the past, and the past does not bleed, he raised his hand. Now you will see what you built, turned against you. Every ship in the Council fleet began to move on its own. Their engines flared, their weapons turned, not outward, but inward. The Council's own armada aimed at the Citadel. Officers screamed for control. The panels sparked. Pilots tried to override systems, but the commands were locked. One by one, the mighty ships that had ruled the galaxy for centuries turned their guns toward their masters, Arin whispered. They've taken over the fleet's core AI. Every command system we use is based on old human tech. They're using our own foundation to destroy us. The first explosion tore through the Citadel's defense ring. The shockwave shook the chamber. Alarms blared. The admirals shouted in terror as the unstoppable storm began. Outside, the stars burned with battle. The Council's fleet fired at itself, ships tearing apart allies, systems collapsing in chaos. In only minutes, the proud navy that had once conquered thousands of worlds was gone. Through the window, Arin saw the black ghost fleet appear again, drifting calmly through the wreckage. They didn't fire a single shot. The Council's pride had destroyed itself. Then Commander Core's voice filled the chamber once more. We warned you. Power built on lies always falls by its own hand. Terrell fell to his knees, his voice breaking. What are you, machines? Spirits, gods? Kor looked straight at him. We are the result of your actions. We are what happens when you teach a species to never forget. The hologram faded. Silence returned to the citadel. Fires burned across its hull. Communication channels were gone. The once great council had been reduced to ruins. Aaron looked at the broken hall around her. For centuries, the galaxy had feared humanity's strength. Now they understood the truth. It was not strength that destroyed them. It was the arrogance of believing humans would stay down forever. Taral turned to Aaron. Is this the end? He asked weakly. She looked out at the stars. No, she said. This is the beginning of something new. The galaxy will remember this day. Not as the fall of the Council, but as the day humanity reclaimed its name. Outside, the black ships formed a ring around the dying citadel. Then they vanished into the dark without firing another shot. The galaxy had just witnessed the fall of pride, not by war, but by truth. And in that silence, every world finally understood that the age of human fear was over. The age of human memory had begun. The citadel floated in darkness above the burning remains of what was once the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. The silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. Systems flickered weakly, air was thin, and fire burned slowly in the hallways. Only a few voices echoed through the broken command decks. Chairmaster Taral stood beside a shattered window, watching fragments of ships drift through the void. Once those ships had obeyed him. Now they were dead metal, lifeless and silent. Aaron Valor moved across the damaged floor with a datapad in her hands. Her face was pale and her uniform torn, but her eyes were still sharp. The communications array is destroyed, she said quietly. But there's still a backup line we can use. It's old and unstable, but maybe enough to reach the other systems. Taral turned slowly toward her. Why would we contact anyone? They saw what happened. No one will follow us now. Because, Aaron said, if we don't speak, the story will be told by them. Humanity will define what happened here, and the rest of the galaxy will believe it. Taral nodded slowly. Then we make one last broadcast. She moved quickly through the control chamber. Panels sparked as she rerouted power from the dying reactors. Every step she took, the lights dimmed more. The station's voice system announced, "Warning, oxygen levels falling." Core instability detected. Still, Aaron worked. Her fingers moved over broken keys until the old transmitter hummed to life. Across the galaxy, thousands of worlds picked up a faint signal, weak, cracked, but alive. It was the voice of the Council. Terrell leaned close to the console. His voice came through with static. This is Chairmaster Taral of the Galactic Council. We speak now not as rulers, but as witnesses to our own failure. Every surviving colony and station stopped to listen. The Council's voice had always been the voice of command. Now it trembled like a dying man. We believed we could control everything, Taral said. We believed we could erase a world and erase the truth with it. But we were wrong. Humanity did not die. They learned. They changed. They became something beyond our understanding. Aaron watched him silently, her expression unreadable. We called them dangerous, Terrell continued, because we feared what they could become. Now they have shown us that fear is no shield. They have turned our own systems against us. They have taught us what it means to lose everything. He paused. If anyone still listens, remember this. Do not repeat our arrogance. Do not raise your hand against the children of Earth. We have already paid the price. Then the transmission was interrupted. A low, sharp tone filled the air. Erin looked at the console and froze. The humans are responding, she whispered. On the display a symbol appeared, a white circle divided by 3 lines, the mark of the Ghost Fleet. The same voice that had spoken through every human transmission before now echoed again, calm and steady. This is Commander Liam Kor, he said. Your words are heard. Your mistakes are understood. The time of judgment is over. Terrell stepped closer. Then what happens now? Kor's hologram appeared once more, clearer than ever before. He looked directly into Terrell's eyes. Now we remember. You built an empire from fear. We will build something new from memory. The galaxy will not forget what you did, but we will not destroy what remains. Aaron stepped forward. Then why are you here? To end the last lie, Kor said. The Council once said humanity was gone. We are here to prove we are not. Suddenly, every surviving ship around the Citadel received a new signal. A massive data burst. It carried humanity's history, from their first steps into space to the burning of Earth. The truth spread faster than any weapon ever could. In one moment, the entire galaxy saw what really happened. They saw Earth burning under Council fire. They saw human children hiding in underground shelters. They saw the silence that followed, and they saw what came after. The rise of the Ghost Fleet. Aaron watched in awe. They're showing everyone. Yes, Kor said. Because truth is stronger than fear, Terral looked down. And what of us? You will live, Kor said. Not as rulers, but as witnesses. The age of domination is over. The hologram faded, and in its place appeared the stars, endless, peaceful, and cold. Aaron turned to Terral. They spared us. Why? Because, Terral said quietly, they became better than us. The old transmission ended with static. Across the galaxy, silence followed. Then one by one, colonies, outposts, and ships began shutting down their weapons. Treaties were signed, fleets stood down, and borders faded. In the ruins of the Citadel, Aaron stood beside the last functioning window. She looked at the stars and whispered, "This is their final message. Not of revenge, but of remembrance." She placed her datapad on the console and began writing one final log. Log entry. The Council has fallen. Humanity has returned. The galaxy will change. What we do next will decide if we survive that change. Outside, the Ghost Fleet drifted away. They didn't leave fire behind, only silence and the hope that maybe this time peace could last. The Citadel's lights dimmed completely and its systems shut down. But its last transmission continued to echo across the stars. Humanity's final words, replayed again and again in every corner of the galaxy. We remember. The fires of war had finally gone dark. The ruins of the Citadel drifted silently through the stars, surrounded by broken ships and forgotten echoes. What was once the center of power for the entire galaxy was now a graveyard. But out in the distance, new lights began to shine, colonies rebuilding, signals of peace, and life returning after centuries of fear. Chairmaster Terral sat alone in a small recovery station orbiting the remnants of the Citadel. His uniform was torn, his authority gone, but his mind was clear for the first time in years. He watched the stars, wondering how many of them still whispered the word Council with hatred. Dr. Aaron Velor entered quietly. "The galaxy is changing," she said. "Every major species has signed the human accord. No more suppression, no more fear laws. Even the military sectors are disbanding," Terral nodded. "And humanity." "They watch," Aaron said, "always from the shadows. The Ghost Fleet is still out there, but they no longer attack. They monitor. They guide some systems. They've become silent guardians." The old leader smiled faintly. "Guardians of those who once tried to destroy them. Strange fate." Aaron looked through the window. Maybe they learned mercy from pain. Across the galaxy, the signs of change were clear. Former Council planets rebuilt their cities not as monuments of control, but as places of learning. Statues of forgotten human heroes appeared in public squares. Children studied the history of Earth, not the lies written by the Council, but the truth shown by the Ghost Fleet. For the first time in living memory, peace spread across the stars. But peace in the galaxy was fragile, in the deep void beyond known space. Far from any star, a single black ship drifted. Inside, Commander Liam Kor stood before a vast holographic display showing the galaxy. Red marks had disappeared, replaced by blue, symbols of unity. Yet near the edge of the map, new signals flashed. Unknown, uncharted. A younger officer approached him. Commander, new transmissions detected from the outer rim. Not Council, not human. Something else. Kor's eyes narrowed. Origin? Unclear, sir. But they're responding to our data burst, the one that revealed the truth about Earth. Someone heard it. Kor looked at the hologram quietly. Then they're coming. He turned to the officer. Keep the fleet in shadow. Let them come. If they seek peace, we welcome them. If they seek what the Council sought, we will remind them. The officer nodded and walked away. Kor gazed out the window where thousands of ghost ships floated in silence. The galaxy thinks the war is over, he said softly, but history has a way of repeating itself. Back in the recovery station, Aaron finished recording her report. This is Dr. Aaron Velo, former scientist of the Galactic Council. Humanity's return has ended the age of fear, but something tells me the story is not done. We built weapons to control others. They built truth to free themselves. And now, their truth travels farther than any fleet ever could. Terrell stood beside her, his old eyes filled with quiet respect. If they truly wish for peace, then maybe there is hope for us all, she smiled faintly. Hope is the one thing they never lost. Outside the window, the light of a nearby star spread across the wreckage of the citadel. What once symbolized control now looked peaceful, almost beautiful. Nature had begun reclaiming even the ruins of war. Across countless worlds, new governments formed, not ruled by fear or blood, but by shared memory. The human accord became the foundation of a new alliance where every voice mattered. Yet in deep space, the mysterious signals kept coming. Strange languages, encrypted coordinates, and unknown symbols. Someone, or something, had heard humanity's story. Aaron listened to one of the faint transmissions on her pad. The voice was distorted, but clear enough to send a chill down her spine. We heard your signal, children of Earth. We remember too. She looked at Terrell, eyes wide. It's not from any known species. Someone else remembers them, he frowned. Then this is not the end. It's the beginning of a new age. Far beyond the rim, the ghost fleet shifted course. The ships turned their black hulls toward the unknown region of space. Commander Kor gave the final order. Set coordinates. Prepare to move. The human fleet faded into the void once more, silent as shadows, leaving only a faint signal behind. A message carried across every system, every planet, every species. When humanity struck back, the galaxy changed forever. We do not seek war. We seek remembrance. As the ghost fleet vanished into the deep dark, the stars shone brighter, marking the birth of the new dawn, a time where humanity no longer hid in fear, but watched over a galaxy learning, finally, to live without chains. The silence that followed was peaceful, but under it all a question remained: if humanity had returned to watch, who then was watching them?